The Honourable Brian Walker.
Thank you, Deputy President. And I have no intention of speaking more than a few minutes because I think the points that I would like to raise have been beautifully brought forth. My colleague here, the Honourable Brad Pettit, I think has encapsulated a lot of what I would say. There's one point of contention I would have there, and that's the $1,000 limit there, which I appreciate. I can see where you're coming from. But the point is that a party like my own, for example, you get people saying, listen, I'd love to actually give a little bit of support to you because I like what you're doing, but I don't want my name associated with anything to do with cannabis because of the stigma. Now, we are fighting this in an open house. We're fighting this in society, but still people are much more concerned about cannabis rather than the horrors in our society of alcohol and other drugs. The horrors are out there. But cannabis, somehow, this safe, simple, sacred healing herb, is something that we cannot tolerate. If people knew that I supported cannabis, I would lose my reputation. I'd lose some of my business. And so the limit there for $1,000, which is really very low down, we would like it very much higher. And 2,600 is probably, we could always do with more, couldn't we? But who is seriously going to actually do nefarious things at such a small sum? But it would make a big difference to us, especially the smaller parties, having people being able to give reasonable donations, which would be very helpful for us, without making their names be splashed over, he's a supporter of a party. I'll give you an example. My Christmas card last year. You might think my collector's items for a Christmas card are something of beauty, but the perception we have in society, we had Caitlin Rintoul saying it's a poorly photoshopped, controversial Christmas card. And the perception out there, people ascribe all kinds of nasty things to us. None of them are valid, I think. I couldn't hear your point, Honourable Kate Doust. I didn't. Indeed so, thank you. The eye of the beholder. And there's another one coming out. But you see, the point here... Signed? I certainly will. Well, I think she was actually a bit narky because she didn't get one. Anyhow, but here we have it. So the perception is very important. So we would appreciate a higher sum, and I think you would appreciate this. But where I really come from with this bill, which I think is actually a very, very good bill, but it speaks to one of my particular... How can I put this? It's not a horror, it's more a kind of a deep-seated fear of what we're seeing in this world. We need people to be engaged, actively engaged, in working to the benefit of our society, and that means getting politically active. Most people don't. Most people look at the politicians and ascribe all kinds of horrible things to us. And coming into this chamber here, all I have met is people who are truly honourable, hard-working, committed to serving the people as best they can, however that may appear. But the outside perception is something very different. And one of the areas where they would be very keen to attack us is in the concept here of improper behaviour, the improper influence, the undue influence, shenanigans with money. And so this bill, I think, does go some way to giving some assurance to the public that we are well organised, well managed. And so I would like to see this concept going out into the public that we are working to the best advantage of the people who have elected us, no matter from which area they come, what beliefs they have. We're working on behalf of the public who have elected us, and that we are protecting you from nefarious behaviour by those who are maybe less able to control their greed. And so I think this is a very sensible step to take. However, that being said, in the Committee of the Whole, I think we'll go into some detail as to how this actually works, because the devil, of course, is always in the detail. And there we have to be very careful that we're not just whitewashing and brushing over details which can be picked out in the next part of this, the bill's process through the chamber. So while my initial views are very supportive, and I'm very happy to stand with my colleague on the crossbench with that, we will, of course, be listening very closely, possibly adding a few of our questions in the Committee of the Whole. But in general, I'm supporting this as being a reasonable approach, and something that, if we could enhance it, improve it in any way in this House, would be ideal. But as it is, it's certainly a good step. And I think it's something that we should support after proper perusal.